Looking for clarity and confidence when it comes to decision making for your business? You've come to the right place. You're now listening to the Atomic Business Coaching Podcast.
I am Adam.
And I'm Tom.
And together we are Atomic Business Coaching,
where our stories are your solutions.
What's up, Tom?
What's going on, Adam?
Good day, good day. We're going to have the podcast with a guest. We haven't had a guest on in, I think, 3 or 4 episodes, and we're super excited about this one, especially for all of our business owner listeners and viewers. We're going to have Ryan Devlin on, who is from one of the top 3 PEOs. He is with Insperity, a PEO. You may have heard of Insperity and Paychex and ADP. I'm going to let Ryan get a little bit more details about what that actually is. But Ryan and I together have built a relationship through helping business owners to grow and maintain their business. We've also built our relationship through golf. We're both avid golfers. We love the sport. We love watching it, playing it, talking about it. So that is, as many of you have listened before, you know how much I love golf. And it's one of the few things that I can escape from everything and just have peace of mind for 4 or 5 hours, regardless of how bad I shoot. And Ryan's just as good and bad as me. So we have a good time. But yeah, the purpose of today is we're going to have Ryan be a resource for you. And him and his company are most likely going to become a part of our Atomic Business Partners program, which will be a resource for all of you and all of our clients to help you grow and maintain in a variety of ways that Tom and I can't as coaches. So with that being said, Ryan, why don't you introduce yourself and Insperity?
Adam, thanks for the intro. I'm really excited to be here today. So you hit the nail on the head that Insperity is really one of the top 3 PEOs out there. But to go a little even more in depth, we're actually the grandfather of this professional employer organization industry, the PEO. We were founded in 1986, not known as Insperity, then known as Administaff. Started off with our founder, Paul Servati, and Jerry McIntosh. And fast forward about 30 plus years, we're now a publicly traded company since 1997. Well, we've rebranded into what's now known as Insperity. We have over 90 offices across the country. I like to use the analogy that where there's a football team, we've leased 1 sales office. So our reach is nationally. We don't outsource any of our service members. So when you call, they are local to you and your community, which is great because, a really great part of working for Insperity is really the opportunity to help businesses succeed, which in turn really helps your community.
So why don't you explain, how do you help businesses succeed? What is a PEO? There's plenty of people that are listening to us that are like, PEO, I have no clue what that is. And they may think okay, I've heard of Insperity, I've heard of Paychex, I've heard of ADP, and they think one thing or another. Either they'll think, it's just where I do my payroll, right? Or that's the people that handle my 401k. So why don't you explain what exactly a PEO is and how you utilize that to help businesses?
Sure. So think of a PEO in layman's terms, a turnkey HR compliance payroll benefit solution, right?
Wait, say that again. So a turnkey HR compliance and benefit solution. So that's what I want everybody listening to understand is this is a comprehensive approach to handle one of the most important and time-sucking parts of your business. And what companies like Insperity and Ryan, their representatives, do is really help you to aggregate all that together. And the reason that I have chosen Insperity as my primary provider for my clients is not just that they do that, because there are, like we said, 2 other main companies who do it. It's because of the way that they do that. So sorry I interrupted there, Ryan, but go ahead. Why don't you elaborate on what that comprehensiveness does?
I love that you said time suck. When someone asks me hey, what does Insperity do? I don't start throwing the acronym PEO, professional employer organization, because half the people I talk to, they really never heard of that unless they're already comfortable with that term or with one today, like an ADP, a TriNet, Paychex, whatever. I say we take care of the necessary headaches of being an employer, which 3 or 4 years ago, these were not at the forefront. They really were just an afterthought on the back burner, sort of just skated by. Now, in this litigious society that we live in, HR is at the forefront of everything that companies do. From startup to acquisition to terminations to getting through what was going on during COVID. There's so many different aspects in which HR is at the forefront and how PEOs help them. So with a PEO, we offload from the very basics, payroll and compliance. So if you have a multiple state business, you have multiple state taxes, multiple state deductions. For companies, an example of that during COVID, closed their brick and mortar and all went remote. Well, now you actually, if your employees live in Connecticut, Jersey, New York, and they're remote employees, now you got 3 different locations. That's what they have to be aware of. So it's great that they closed to save rent and because no one's coming to the office anymore. But now you got to stay on top of that compliance piece. And if you have just, as I call the business owner who's a hat rack, I can almost guarantee they're not well versed in that multi-state compliance, and they're already outsourcing someone to come in and make sure they're doing it in the right way.
Right. And what about for someone who is a newer business? They've started up, they finally turned it in from being like a side hustle to a business, and they're hiring their first, 5, 6, 7 employees. They may have just moved out of their garage into their first real office, but they have all these problems. They don't have an HR team. They don't have an accountant on staff. They don't have their payroll being done. Either they're doing it themselves or they're handing it to an accountant. They don't have, retirement stuff. They don't have an employee handbook. So How does it work for a smaller company?
Sure. So, we help companies, from as little as 3 to 5 to maybe 1,000, but there's obviously different needs and challenges with each size company. With the smaller companies, we're going to advise them on, hey, this is what it looks like today. This is what it's going to look like with us. We're going to take care of your onboarding of employees. We're going to take care of your I-9 verifications, your background checks. We're going to ask for their banking information so that way the direct deposit is smooth and you don't have to worry about that. Remove that headache from you. Oh, and also we're going to take care of your workers' comp. What are your workers' comp codes? What states do they work in? Do they earn commissions and they earn bonuses? What's their job title? And make sure that that's all compliant. And then because we have every 30 days a true-up of everything, we go through a mini audit of your company every 30 days, which is huge for small and mid-sized companies who are trying to run lean and budget. So they can project out, hey, if I hire this person, do I have the necessary cash flow to actually do that? And in our model, through our payroll reporting, you can automatically detect that, right?
Yeah.
And then with the HR side of things, we take care of the mandatory sexual harassment, anti-discrimination training. We do manager training. So when someone manages people, if they've never been properly, trained in that, how do you interact with them? How do you apply constructive criticism? We'll do climate surveys. What do people like? What do they not like working for your company? What do they want more of? What do they want less of? So, really peel back the onion for the business owner to say, okay, I have these people. I think I have a good culture, but what can I do to improve it?
Exactly. So, and that's really why we wanted Ryan to come on is to give 2 things. We're going to talk about one other thing in a moment, but really to have more of our listeners understand that, you usually think of these PEOs as like a payroll company. They're just going to handle my payroll and make sure that paychecks are going out the door. But they can overcome and handle so many roles that as a newer company you may not have, or as a larger company that it's too time consuming to have 7 different people do this. And as I said before, this is why I like Ryan and his team, because it's not just Ryan. Ryan actually is like the quarterback of his team, and he directs everybody who's out there. And you have people that are specialized in each area, specialized in payroll, specialized in HR, specialized in end of month reporting. I think he has 7 or 8 per company, 7 or 8 people that are working on each company in their specific kind of silo. And then Ryan quarterbacks and make sure all that's going together. So it's very unique. I've never seen this from any other company. And that's, like I said, why you and your company are a provider that I prefer to work with and introduce all of my clients to. So we wanted to give a little backstory on that, but we don't want this to be all about, PEO. So the secondary reason that we really decided to have Ryan on our podcast was not just to learn about PEO, but really to talk about their synergy with us and how we believe their mindset, their mission, their culture really aligns with how we're trying to help our business owners out. And they have this amazing book that was created, an amazing strategy. So why don't you talk a little bit about that, Ryan?
Sure. Well, Insperity, over 37 years of the business, not only myself, but the countless, people in my capacity across the country. I've had the privilege to work with tens of thousands of companies. And really over time, our CEO, Paul Savati, has identified 9 key strategies to drive business results. And the name of the book is literally called Take Care of Your People, right? Mm-hmm. And these strategies, they apply to companies of all sizes, from startups, as we described, to companies who've gone public with thousands of employees. But the objective of these 9 core strategies is really to give your company the best results possible, right? But even before thinking about the strategies, it starts with every business owner's why. What I try to do, and so the members of my team, they're called business performance advisors, not sales reps, not business development representatives, advisors. And what we try to do in each interaction with a client or prospect is remind business owners why they started their business. Because really, when we identify that, we sort of separate ourselves by trying to build better rapport and really educate business owners and be like, okay, this is not like, a commodity play or transactional sale. They actually care about my company. And if the why is meaningful, whether it's a family company, be their own boss, they like where the current industry was going, that business is going to fight to overcome the obstacles in pursuit of success. The motivation really isn't why you're doing these things, right? Really, the whole goal here is to bridge the gap and bring as many of your employees from good to great, or from failure to success. Mm-hmm. And think of these 9 core strategies as you have a business owner on the left side of a bridge who's kind of struggling, and the right side of the bridge is a success. Think of each piece as a plank, essentially, to completely get where we need to go. And each of these really play a critical role, right?
So, Ryan, one of the things that you're talking about is bridging that gap that a lot of people struggle with. And when you work with companies, what is part of that process of getting them to start that bridging of the gap? Like, what are some of the things that you do, that your team comes in and does, to really get somebody off the ground and start to fill in those holes? Because, we talk to so many business owners and they all struggle with very similar things, especially the smaller ones, right? I'm talking to guys less than 10 people in their business. They really struggle with, how do I hire somebody? How do I manage somebody? How do I get somebody to perform better? So how do you close some of those gaps along the way as you're building this bridge? And I love that you're building a bridge. My first book was called Bridge to Change. So anytime I hear somebody talk about a bridge, I know we're going to have a great story. So tell our listeners, what is the thing that you really do and go in to help people start to fill in those gaps?
Sure. Well, Todd, it really starts with the mindset of a very business owner I talk to. If I sit down with a business owner and they ask me, well, what's this going to save me within the first 30 seconds? I know it's going to be an uphill challenge, because it's going to be difficult for me to convey the mindset that we provide, because it's not just commodity. It's not just about saving money. It's about reinvesting in your people and ultimately getting a better return on the dollars that you're already spending. But now, if I sit down with a business owner, and this is one that I had a recent interaction with, they reach out to us. There were 7 people. They are a pharmaceutical company. They're growing rapidly. They're opening up a huge facility in the South. They got employees over 5 different states. So they knew that in his capacity, and because they're trying to run lean, they simply didn't have the resources, nor the knowledge, nor really the time to sort of hire all these people and try to piecemeal something together. Because next thing you know, you're paying 4 or 5 different vendors, different renewal dates. You're chasing them all around. And really what we're doing is we're consolidating all those necessary headaches for the small to mid-sized business owners. And ultimately, if we're able to build that rapport and have the educational session and have like a demo of the platform, meet the service team, ask the right types of questions, they really can get behind that this is not a 1 or 2 year relationship. This is a 7 to 10 year relationship, which is the average tenure of an Insperity client.
Well, that's what I like a lot about it is you're helping people along their journey of growth and success. And that's really that's one of our core values, and what we do here is making sure that we're going to be here now. We're going to be here as you grow, as you stumble, and as you have ultra success. And that's why I like to align with you. So let me ask you, these 9 core strategies, what's one of, maybe you can share one of the key components overall about like how they work, or what it actually is, what one of those components are?
So there's definitely 9, and we could go well beyond our allotted time to go over all 9, but I think the major one that everyone needs to focus on, and it doesn't matter if you're a 3-person company or a 3,000-person company, It's culture, right?
Yeah.
Culture really is the common underlying thread which ties each of these concepts or planks, Tom, really together.
Right.
Culture is the story that people tell about your organization, and it consists of things like your mission, your vision, and really your values, right? If a business owner and a company has a strong culture, everything else is going to be easier to maintain and cultivate. Your employees are your cheerleaders. They're talking about their company. They work for barbecues. They're talking to them at dinner with their friends. They're talking about, compared to the company that doesn't really have a good culture, they might be a little more reserved, right? And that really starts from the top down, regardless of your size. I've come across large companies with terrible retention because the business owner was only worried about their own pockets and didn't really give their employees a reason to stay. They got a health insurance increase. Well, they didn't want to eat that. They wanted to decrease the amount that they were paying towards their employees, so they would increase their out of pockets, right? But I've also seen small companies with tremendous culture because their owner invites them over to his house every holiday to spend time with each other in a non-work setting with their families, their wives, their kids, in order to bond more, right? Culture is so when you ask me which one really stands out the most to me, it's definitely culture.
Yeah, so that's incredible because we start all of our coaching programs with 3 core things, and it's mission, vision, and values.
Nice.
We really have people establish or confirm and validate what is their mission, what is their vision, what is their company's values, what are their personal values, what are the people that they want working for them, what are their values, so you can all align and see down that path together and get there. So, in your opinion, why are company values so important?
Oh, man. Values are extremely important, but they must be acted upon by leadership ultimately. Like, you could post, values on the walls of your office, but if it's not being preached upon, then it's just another piece of paper with a message on it. Really, the owner has to instill the values and beliefs of the strong and positive culture that they truly live and breathe 24/7, 365, right? Mm-hmm. Paul Servati would not have created that book, Take Care of Your People, if he really didn't truly believe in that. When you open that book and you check it out, it's not a pitch on Insperity. It's literally strategies just to run more effectively. And ultimately, who the person is and how they position themselves and how they take care of their people really speaks volumes, right? A business owner's values, really says to all employees what you embrace as a business. Ultimately, for the business owners out there listening, I want you to write this down. Leaders influence your emotions. Emotions drive people. People drive performance. It's definitely crucial to pay attention to how you develop your business leaders, train your leaders, and have a clear roadmap for their career projection. Which, if you have the right values, that's going to be on autopilot.
Ryan, the way you're speaking is very much reminding me how we take a lot of our clients' sabotaging behaviors and redevelop their own perspective on things to put that culture in place as you're talking, right? Values are the things that are really habits. They're habits of an organization that need to be lived and acted upon daily. And if they're driven by these emotions that are not helpful or useful, performance is going to suffer. So I love the parallel that you kind of just drew for me there, right? Like, if you're not living and breathing this daily value or this daily habit, you're not going to effectively lead your people to get the performance out of them that you want. Do you do, like, as part of the PEO services, is there, like, I saw the performance improvement piece that you offer to companies. Do you help companies, put their whole performance evaluations, their annual reviews and things like that into place so that because a lot of people struggle with just, how do I measure these people? How do I get the most out of them? How do I know I'm getting the most out of them, right? I'm investing all of this money in the benefits and the compliance and the payroll and everything else that we're doing, but how am I measuring what I'm doing? And am I actually achieving success with my people? And that's part of taking care of people is, am I optimizing and using their skills, or am I not doing that?
Yeah. Tom, that's a great question. In this millennial society that we all live in now, it's no longer about a paycheck and benefits. It's really not. It's really about the culture. What is this company doing for me? Is it giving me the opportunity to grow?
Right.
Is it giving me the opportunity to really expand my horizons? And absolutely, Insperity helps with that. One of the people of the service team Adam was describing before, their title's literally called performance specialist, right? And of course, they're going to do the mandatory state mandated trainings for you. But ultimately, what they can also do, they could do things like Six Sigma, become a black belt in organization. They can provide trainings on things like PowerPoint, Excel, but you also asked reviews, right? Ultimately, business owners want to do that, but it takes a lot of time. Right? We can automate that system, and it's built into our platform. It's called Insperity Premier, and you log on, you see what your goals are for the year, you see what courses have been assigned to you, and then your manager can measure your progress to see how you're going towards that goal. Like, even though I'm a manager of a team here, I have goals every year. My boss gives me certain courses to take in servant leadership every year to sort of like keep me on track and like make sure that we're still striving to get better, right? I'm constantly trying to learn at Insperity. Being in this industry, I'm going to be honest, I'm never going to become a full expert in it. I know enough to be deadly, but I literally probably learn 1 or 2 new things every week because every business is different. Every industry is different. There's different challenges for each one. And as long as you have a get better agenda, we can convey that to our business owners. Hey, we understand you're struggling with. We understand where you want your companies to get to, where you want your employees to get to. We have the tools necessary and the people supporting you. It's not just a database of a bunch of books and online courses, which of course they can log on and browse them however they see fit. But if that business owner is, hey Ryan, can I talk to that performance specialist about how we can make Adam more effective, and ultimately, yes, we can set them up with that information.
So here's what I want to say. Here's the true differentiator here and why we really wanted to introduce all of you to both Insperity and Ryan Devlin is this is not a product or a service. This is a partnership with you and your business, which is exactly what Atomic Business Coaching does. So we truly feel that he and his company are a great dovetail into all the problems that we're going to cause you as you grow your business. You're going to have to deal with this stuff. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is providing you the solutions for the problems that we're going to cause you when you have that success. So one of the cool things that we are doing is we are having some workshops that we're offering. We're having one that's called a 1-page business plan. We're going to be offering that for free for people. We'll let you know about that in about a month or so. And the beginning of that is creating your mission and vision. So right in line with what you're saying. And what we're doing is we are slowly rolling out all of our features for the Atomic Business Coaching community, which is to 10x and work less. That community is going to be hosted through Facebook groups. It's a private Facebook group. We're going to have private Zoom meetings. There's going to be opportunities for master classes to have experts like Ryan and Insperity come in. So we've already talked to Ryan and his company, and luckily we're going to be bringing him and his company into that community sporadically, but very intentionally to take some of the teachings that Tom and I and other experts are going to have and then add additional value to that by him bringing some knowledge, expertise, and resources to all of you. So I want you to keep your eye out for that. Obviously, you can follow us at atomicbusinesscoaching.com. That's our website where all that information will go. We're working on a new website with a great company, a great woman, Sarah Laval from Simple Sweet Sites. She's done 3 of my other company's websites already. And we're creating a whole page on there that's going to be called Atomic Business Partners, where Insperity and our other resources will be highlighted in there so you can get access directly to Ryan. That'll take some time, but we're hoping to have that out in about October. So with all that being said, obviously you can find us. We'll bring more of Insperity, more of Ryan, more of these resources to you. But Ryan, why don't you let people know in the interim, how can all of our listeners, our viewers, learn more about you, your company, and specifically these 9 core strategies?
Sure. I've been certified on the 9 core strategies. I actually host seminars talking about them here in the tri-state area, but we also have thought leadership throughout the country, so it's not just here in the tri-state area, it's across the country where you can come and listen. I'm going to be promoting those on my LinkedIn page. Again, Ryan Devlin, District Manager of Insperity. If you don't like going out in public because of it's still back in the COVID, you can pick up a copy of Paul Servati's book called Take Care of Your People. And I promise, again, it's not a sales pitch on Insperity, but it truly outlines a getting better agenda.
Excellent. And we'll have all of that information in the show notes, so you don't have to write those down if you're driving. Don't worry about pulling over. I know you're excited to get this stuff. But yeah, they'll be in the show notes. You can always click all of that to connect directly with Ryan, find out about the book, Insperity, and everything else that we've talked about in this episode. So, hey, Ryan, I want to thank you so much. You are doing amazing work. I have literally watched you do this for some of my clients, and I can't wait for you and your company to help so many other people build a great culture and have a successful company.
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it.